Oh, this is really bad. This is really, really bad.
It's okay, brother.
Oh, man, Chelsea. Why? We were doing so well. We were doing so well. And then we fall to Brentford. Albeit it was a tie, but we should have mopped the floor with Brentford, but instead we tied them. And we wouldn't have even done that if it weren't for Cole Palmer coming in. Saving the day. Pathetic. We should have won. We should have beat Brentford. But we were listless and pathetic and incapable of exerting ourselves on the game. What we should have done is played a little less forward thinking, opened up a little bit more for Brentford, let them attack a little bit more, and hit them on the counter. Gosh, jeez, this is not comfortable. But this is what happens when Chelsea drop points, and that's what we did at Brentford. We dropped points when we shouldn't have. This is why Maresca is going to get fired. He's going to get so fired.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to get so fired.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to get fired. Unless something goes disastrously wrong this season, he's not going to get fired this season, but next season he's not going to cut it. It's not going to happen. I can tell you that because he is persistent on playing in a fashion that is not practical. And it's not getting us the results against the teams that we should. Crystal Palace, 0-0. Brentford, 3-3. Are you kidding me? Come on. We should have... Oh, 2-2. Sorry. Whatever. I'm in a state here. I'm banged up. Much like Chelsea. I'm banged up. I'm not doing too good.
It was a train wreck for Chelsea. Categorical train wreck. It was the worst way to tie a game possible, in my mind. You go behind. That's bad. You go behind against Brentford. That shouldn't happen. But you come back and take the lead late in the game. I think it was the 80-something minute when you took the lead. And then you let it go again and take a tie. That was bad. And Brentford are not a superpower team. They're not a powerhouse team this season. So, yeah, you have sustained many injuries this weekend, Joe.
Very bad. Very, very bad. Pathetic, one might argue.
Did Palmer get both goals?
No.
I'm trying to remember who got the...
No, he did not. He did not get both goals.
He had a beautiful volley.
He got
that was an amazing goal.
Incredible.
That first one.
Incredible goal.
And I don't remember the second one.
You don't remember the second one? How do you not remember the second one? Come on, dude.
Oh yeah, Caicedo rocket.
Yeah.
That's right.
Caicedo had.
Yep.
He had that one to tie it up or to put us in the lead. That was just incredible.
Unbelievable.
Really incredible. Incredible by Caicedo. What a shot.
What a player.
Yeah. I mean, he is incredible. He is incredible. Starting Gittins, not incredible. Gittins, just not incredible. Kind of a disappointment. Not effective. He's quick, but didn't do a lot with the ball at his feet. Neto was productive, but no finishing product. Ultimately, it's João Pedro and Cole Palmer, the usual suspects. creating problems. And Caicedo, of course, another usual suspect. So Gittins, not very hopeful for him.
Do you think you are this week a victim of injuries? Delap is injured, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. No.
Might have made a difference.
Yes, but no, we're not a victim of injuries. We have a deep team. And being a victim of injuries is, in my opinion, an excuse. Like, if you're a team competing at the top level for the big trophies, then you come into the season with a deep squad so that when injuries happen, you can persevere, you can get through. You don't have to, it's not an excuse. You should have a deep enough team where you can just slot another high-quality, skillful player in, and they can do what they need to do. And Chelsea just dropped the ball against Brentford big time. Bigly.
In the bigliest way possible, they dropped the ball.
Their performance was wrong. It was bad. Tactics were off. First half was a disaster. Completely ineffective, which has been typical under Maresca. And then, great players who would do well under any coach in any system come in and score goals and are productive. And then it's like, Maresca, well, he's really got something going. It's like he doesn't have anything going. He has a bad tactical scheme. He's not thinking pragmatically. And we're losing points to teams that we should walk all over. We have an obscenely expensive, skillful, talented, young squad. We should be bulldozing these teams. And instead we're scrapping for a point. It's completely ridiculous.
Okay.
It's not quite like, Villas-Boas 2.0 or
Frank.
Or what's his name? What's the guy that's at West Ham now? Potter 2.0. Yeah. But it's the same. It's a symptom of the same issue. It's like these young coaches. They're convicted that they have to stick with the style. It's like, get pragmatic. Stop messing around. Beat teams on the counter. Surprise teams. Open up. Let them think that they can do something. Let them come into our half and try and attack, and then wallop them. Too much movement. I'm too banged up. Wallop them on the counter. That's how we score goals. That's what we should have done.
I definitely agree. I think big surprise that Nuno Espirito Santo was the first manager to get canned. Seems like he kind of opted to leave a bit. But it does seem, at this rate, Maresca is on the course to be possibly the second manager to get canned. We'll see.
No,
there are worse managers in the league.
We'll see what happens in the Champions League.
Speaking of which, the next game for Chelsea is Bayern Munich.
Yes.
In the Champions League.
Yeah.
If he can get a result there, I think that buys him some time. If he gets smashed by Bayern Munich, then they'll give him time on that. It's not sometime.
It's if he doesn't make it into the knockout stages of the Champions League. That's where and if we're languishing in the league, if we're not in the top 4 in the league,
check.
And we don't make it into the knockout stages of the Champions League, he's heading out the door.
Yeah.
If we end the season not in Champions League spots, he's getting fired for sure. If we end the season in Champions League spots, they're gonna hang on to him, but it's gonna be tentative. It's gonna be like, we gave you billions of dollars, you got the players you wanted, it's clearly not happening. Who's got Mourinho's number?
So in your mind,
I say fire him now and hire Mourinho.
Yeah, Mourinho just became available.
Yeah, Mourinho's available, and he'd get results out of the squad.
It doesn't seem like Mourinho, but based off of his last interactions with Chelsea, he would ever go back.
Oh, he's coming back. Third time's a charm. He's coming back.
We'll see. New ownership. All right, let's move on. Why don't we go ahead and talk about West Ham, Tottenham. So West Ham, red card. It was a blatant red card, really dumb, and they lost 3-0 to Tottenham, which, especially with the red card, that's going to happen. They were already a point down. Potter doesn't know what he's doing. He couldn't defend the first goal. They were always going to lose this game. And I think, with his offensive focus, I think that kind of offensive focus leads to red cards like the one we saw where Souček, desperately went in for a tackle, cleats up into the guy's knee, and he's out of the game, and then they just got smashed. So, do you have anything to add, or should we move on?
No, don't care.
Yep. Okay.
Hate them both.
Amen. All right. Arsenal versus Nottingham Forest. Amazing display from Arsenal. I think we could have done better, potentially. We did have some injuries. But for me, there's two big things about this game. One, all of our new signings were involved in every goal. So Zubimendi had 2 goals. Eze had an assist. Gyökeres had a goal. And Madueke earned the corner and took the corner that led to the first Zubimendi goal. So that was huge to see. Really good purchases from Arsenal. We had issues scoring goals in the last couple seasons. All our new signings are scoring and getting in on the goals. The second big note, I would say, is that in past seasons, and a lot of Arsenal fans are overlooking this, and a lot of opposing fans, a lot of people are overlooking this. But it's really big for a team like Arsenal. We come into the season, and we immediately smash teams. We smashed Leeds, and we crushed Nottingham. And in the past, early on in the season, it kind of took us a while to kind of get a good start, get the engine running, get the players, scoring goals. And so a game like the Leeds one and the Nottingham one would oftentimes end up 1-0, maybe a 3-0 versus a team like Leeds, or a 2-1 or a 3-1. But to get that just crushing victory where you can rest players that need a rest, you can kind of take a break, and stat pad as well. Get a high, goal differential. I think that's huge for Arsenal, both the Leeds game and this Nottingham game. And a good bounce back from the Liverpool game. And so I think going into the Champions League games, Arsenal can rest players and, still get the results we need. So everything's doing just fine for Arsenal this week.
Yeah, you guys had a great result. And you know what?
Those goals.
As somebody that hates the ground they stand on, the worst part for everybody else in the league, especially title challengers, is Gyökeres getting a goal, hitting the post, looking effective. That's a problem.
3 out of 4.
That's the biggest problem, because that's the missing puzzle piece for Arsenal is goals. They have not had a consistent single-man goal scorer. And if he keeps getting goals and building up his confidence, it's going to translate into game-changing performances. That's the problem for the rest of us. If Arsenal can keep him snagging goals here or there, then eventually it's going to become a huge issue for everybody else in the league. Let's talk about Man U, Man City.
Yeah, Man U, Man City. I kind of predicted that Man U would give Man City a lot more issues because I think Man U are kind of setting themselves up to be good against the top 6 teams. I was 100% wrong, and Amorim is exactly who we thought he is.
He's an idiot. He's like the rest of these young, youthful managers. He's trying to stick to some sort of style, trying to play some sort of way. It's like, dude, be hyper pragmatic. Stop trying to enforce your style on everybody else. Rather, figure out the other team's weaknesses and adhere your style to that. That's what great managers do. Carlo Ancelotti does that. Jose Mourinho in his heyday did that. Antonio Conte does that. Maximo Allegri did that. Like, all the great managers do that. That's what you do. And unless you're in some sort of league where you can roll over everybody else and you have like one or two other teams that are actually give you a problem, that's what you should do. You should figure out their weaknesses and adhere your tactics to them. And in the Premier League, that's what you should do. And Arne Slot does that with Liverpool, and Jurgen Klopp did that prior to Arne Slot with Liverpool. He figured out what was making the opposing teams tick, and he exploited them and exploited their problems and their weaknesses and their blind spots. And Pep Guardiola is a little bit of an anomaly, only a little bit, because it's like, well, he's been afforded all the money in the world, and he's been fortunate and wise enough to pick the right players on top of that. And between those things, he's been able to enforce his style on other teams, and that's worked for a long time for him. But that's not you. And Amorim doesn't seem to get that, much like Maresca, much like Villas-Boas, much like a lot of managers that have come through Chelsea. Potter, I just can't, Lampard, I just can't even, the list just goes on and on. And this whole thing of being like, we have this style and this is the way we're going to play and this is our conviction and we want to be entertaining and blah, 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 stupid, dumb, stop being an idiot. Win. That's how you win over your fans. That's how you win over the front room offices. That's how you win, is by figuring out how to win at any cost, right. Even the cost of pretty football or soccer or whatever. Amorim hasn't figured that out. He's going to get fired. He's a loser. He's got a ton of talent in the squad, and he's not exploiting it correctly. And it was, for me, a very predictable result. I knew they weren't going to do anything in this game. I knew it. And everybody's very hopeful because Man City's been doing horrible, but now they just got a nice little shot in the arm. A bunch of confidence from beating their city rival. And it wasn't necessary. Actually, Man U could have exploited this. But they have a dumb manager who is inexperienced, but more importantly, dumb and proud, and thinks that he knows better than, like, this preponderance of previous knowledge. Like, it's just an insurmountable mountain of information pointing to the fact that you don't get to just enforce your will on Manchester City or any team in the Premier League for that matter on any given day. You have to instead figure out what they're doing and how to exploit it. And the squad lineup was bad coming out of the gate. I looked at that and I thought, Mbuemo, good. Sesko, good. Bruno Fernandes is good wherever he is. Everybody else in midfield and attack is, not worthy of wiping my butt with. And it was just like, okay. And your defense, we already know your defense isn't great. So it's like, okay, you guys are just preparing to get slaughtered by Erling Haaland. And that's what happened. Predictable, dumb. Form doesn't play a part in these types of derby rival games. We all know this. It's like everything's so tense and all that. It was just stupid. It's just dumb. woefully mismanaged. And they could have gotten a result, I think, because they were feeling it. And they do have enough skillful attacking players, but it's just woefully mismanaged. So, whatever. Amram's going to get fired. Man U are going to continue to wallow until they can convince a real manager to come manage them, which I don't know if they can at this point. Now, they certainly have the checkbook, but everything else is pointing to they suck. And, at this point, they're not going to finish in the top 10 again.
Yeah.
Losers.
Once again, started the season.
By the way, I wanted them to win. Desperately.
Oh, yeah.
Or get a tie, at least.
Absolutely.
Like, anything to halt Man City on any level makes me happy. I hate them.
Yeah.
But this is just pathetic. Stupid. Whatever.
Very dumb. Yep. And he's back to 4 games, 4 points for Man U. So 1 point per game this season. Very bad. 2 losses, a draw. All right. By the way, another new manager. We already talked about Arsenal Nottingham, but Ange Postecoglou and Ange, he got his first loss as manager there. So he's already on thin ice. We'll see how that turns out.
Yeah, he's going to get fired too. He's useless.
Yeah, he's not gonna last long.
He doesn't understand the world.
Very bad. Okay. Real quick, how about, all right, Everton versus Aston Villa was a tie. That's about what we'd expect.
Yeah.
0-0. All right, how about, this is a big game, Burnley versus Liverpool. Okay? And I was quite upset to hear that Liverpool got a penalty in the 90th minute plus 4 minutes added time. So they get a penalty and win. Burnley had a red card already. They gave up a dumb penalty. They shouldn't have given it up. Liverpool were very fortunate to get a win against Burnley. They barely got that win. I mean, the last minute of the game, they got the win. What does that say about Liverpool? That they needed 2 egregious errors from Burnley in order for them to get the win in the last minute. Can they challenge the best teams in the world with a performance like that?
Well, to help the refs, I can do anything. But no, it was a legit penalty.
It was legit.
I think Liverpool. Every champion team is going to grind out some, unflattering wins.
True.
I don't know. This is a nothing burger to me. It's like, it wasn't a great game for Liverpool, but ultimately Burnley made a stupid mistake, conceded a PK, and they ended up losing.
What it tells me is that Liverpool, you look at a team like Arsenal, what they did. Liverpool, we're always going to win the game, but you would expect them to win it by a lot. And to get a goal...
You would expect them to blow them out.
Yeah, for them to... And with the red card already, for them to barely get the victory was kind of pathetic, but it was always going to happen.
I'll say this. This season is going to be a season decided by depth. For sure. Without a doubt. And Liverpool don't have the defensive depth. Okay? And they've got some shortcomings in Wirtz being not that good, and in Mo Salah being old and entering his injury-prone years. He's still great. He's still dynamic. He's still very effective. But if he gets injured and Wirtz continues doing what he's been doing, which is being completely ineffective, then it's down to the rest of the team. And they also have a defense which is on the verge of literally one injury away from being ineffective. So they're definitely on a knife's edge. And this game wasn't great for them, but they got the win. And those things are what's going to need to go wrong in order for them to not continue their winning ways. And because they have the confidence. They're motivated. They're fighting. They're like, we want to get another title. It's clear that they're motivated to do that. They've injected a ton of talent into the team. In the case of Vert's alleged talent, but they have injected a competitive edge into the training grounds. They're serious about competing for the league again and the Champions League. However, they didn't strengthen themselves that much in defense, and they're just an injury or two away on offense from being very ineffective. I'm sorry, Gakpo's not going to win you the league. It's not going to come down to Cody Gakpo.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I don't know. Now they have the money to dip in January if things got really ugly, but we'll see. But they're holding strong, so good for them.
Let's so Bournemouth beat Brighton. I expected that to happen. Any comment? That's kind of
no, don't care. Whatever.
Newcastle beat Wolves.
Yeah, that was 1-0. Not great, but whatever.
Okay,
Fulham. Who scored? I didn't watch that game.
Let's see. I can't remember. That was Nick Woltemade.
Well, there you go.
Probably mispronounced that one, but that's fine.
Good job, Woltemade.
Got the 1-0 versus Wolves. Okay.
Well, what are we doing here, Dom? What do we got
and then
we've
got...
What do we got going on here? What was the Brighton game?
that was versus Bournemouth beat Brighton.
Oh, yeah.
2-1. Okay.
Yeah.
Crystal Palace tied Sunderland. That's kind of expected.
Shocker.
Yep, from both teams.
I'm completely shocked.
Crystal Palace lost most of their team. Sunderland came into the league with some good purchases. Makes sense that they would tie. Fulham beat Leeds 1-0. That's expected. Leeds are new to the league, and they're getting crushed. And Fulham aren't that great, but they did win. And that sums up the week.
Wow.
Okay, so you want to run through next week's games real quick?
No, I don't.
Let's do it anyways. Liverpool-Everton, Merseyside derby. I think Everton...
Everton was going to pull out a draw or a win.
I agree.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Burnley, Nottingham Forest, whatever. Brighton, Tottenham win.
Yeah.
West Ham.
No, Matoma with a goal, and Brighton win 2-1. Sorry.
2-1. Okay. I would say if anything, Brighton could get a 1-0, but I think their best bet is to tie the game, and I think Tottenham are most likely to win. But that's just me. West Ham, Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace could win, maybe a tie. Okay, Man United, Chelsea.
That's a tough game. Man U are...
At Old Trafford.
Yeah, that's a tough game. I think Chelsea will win.
Of course.
But Man U are going to come in hot, just like they did with City. Man U came in hot against City. Sesko had a nice little shot, curler. Of course, Donnarumma, who's like the best shot stopper in the entire world. Like when it comes to reactions and all that, it's like there's not a better goalkeeper in the world right now. So he stopped that Sesko one. And but Man U are going to come out of the gate the same way. They're going to come out hot. They're going to be like, we can prove we got this. We're trying to. They're going to try and prove something in front of their home crowd. It's going to be a tough game. Chelsea are going to win.
Okay, I'm not sure about that. I could definitely see a tie.
We're gonna start Cole Palmer. He's gonna rip apart their defense.
Right. Wolves Leeds. That's a nothing game. Fulham Brentford. Another nothing game. Sunderland Aston Villa. Aston Villa should win. Bournemouth Newcastle. That is actually a good game. That's a game to watch. Bournemouth Newcastle. That's going to be a good one. It'll be a tight game. It'll be very back and forth. Bournemouth should dominate the ball, but Newcastle are should be good on the counter. We'll see.
Newcastle will win.
And the big game of next week, Arsenal versus City. They both had a 3-0 win. Arsenal are ahead of City on the table. Who wins that game?
Arsenal's going to beat City.
I agree. I do agree.
I don't
Arsenal
like
should
that
beat City.
in this case because Arsenal are bigger competitors for the league with Chelsea than City are. I think City are very weak in a lot of ways, but Arsenal are going to beat City. In fact, they might even walk on City. City have a lot of problems. You know, they keep starting this Kushinov kid from Georgia or wherever the hell he's from.
Kirkez?
Kirkstand?
Yeah, his name is Kirkez, I think.
Or Kirkanoff? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't care. He's from Kyrgyzstan or one of those places. And he's not good. And
he's very bad.
they're going to roll over. They're going to exploit that guy, and they're going to roll over City.
Yeah.
Now, Erling Haaland and Bernardo Silva are going to do work. They're always good. They're always effective. But Arsenal are just too strong in every position, and they haven't had to try and replace a Kevin De Bruyne type talent. They're going to come in hot and hard. Is it at the Etihad or
it's at Emirates?
It's at the Emirates. Yeah, it's going to be rough for City.
Yeah,
City are, with Haaland on the field, anything's possible.
right.
So, but it's going to be a tough game.
It'll be a good game to watch. I think Arsenal will win ultimately, but I do think it will be close. We do have some injuries in defense. We don't have all the best players available to us. I think Rice did play, so he'll probably be available, but I think Saliba is out, and I think Saka will be out. Those are some key players. But I do think Arsenal win. And this, I want to go back a little bit, just we can end that episode at this, but Man U and teams like that Potter manages, like West Ham, they try to play ultra offensive, Amorim, Potter, but in order to play offensive ball, you have to have your defense under control. And Man City don't have their defense under control. They don't have their midfield, their defensive midfield, and their defense under control. Arsenal do. Arsenal have a really solid core to the team. And so in order to build an offense to where you can control the game and crush your enemy, you have to lock down your defense. That's where it starts. Because every time the ball gets into the opposing team's hands, you have to be able to lock them down and get it back. And so that's what Arteta has done with Arsenal, is lock down defense, shut them down, get the ball, and then we can do whatever we want on offense. So in the Nottingham game, for instance, there was like 70 minutes into the game. Nottingham didn't get the ball into our box once, while Arsenal got the ball into Nottingham's box like 15 times. So it just shows, like, if you stop their defense, you're going to get the ball on offense. You're going to get opportunities, and it's going to lead to goals. And I think with a good enough offense, Arsenal could have really crushed them. But I think, it just starts in defense. If you shut out the other team, you're going to get all the opportunities, and you're gonna win. So, ready to end it here?
Yeah, I guess we'll end it here. Chelsea disappointed this weekend against Brentford, but we live to fight another day. I guess it was only a tie, but whatever.
Do you think you'll recover enough by next week to where you can take off the neck brace and put some regular clothes on?
We'll see. We'll see next.
You're playing.
We'll see next week.
You're playing Bayern Munich, so.
Ooh.
Good luck.
I think we got this. Vincent Company, come on. We'll get him.